because it's supposed to be extra, or a blanket, or a decent meal. This is stratification, and it appears in every area. I don't know how many of you noticed this, but Southwest Airlines is now making their frequent flyer plan more complicated. Did you know about this, Diego? You knew about it. Yeah, Diego's from the airline industry. Southwest Airlines, alone among the major carriers, has always made simplicity a selling point. This is from the New York Times. Its Rapid Rewards frequent flyer program, introduced in 1987, has been as simple to use as a pizza parlor coupon book. Take 16 flights, get one free. Well, they're changing. Why have they spent $100 million? Notice, for things like this, productivity is not the issue. They spend and spend and spend. They spent $100 million to redesign Rapid Rewards, introducing better benefits for sure, but also adding a lot more complexity. Essentially, the program is built around awarding points based not on trips flown, but on money spent. Customers who buy the more expensive Business Select fares, for example, receive more points than those who opt for cheaper fares. Okay, you get what you pay for, right? This is the philosophical principle behind this.
But,
yes.
Ken, for
Yeah.
instance, I really, not that old, but I remember the time that you fly, when you flew,
Yeah.
that you had to pay extra for the movie, extra for an alcoholic drink.
Turn it on.
So I remember, is it on?
Hello? Yeah.
Okay. I remember the time when you flew that you had to pay extra for the movie, extra for the alcoholic drink. That's now all included, even if you have the cheapest seat in economy. So I have a little bit the feeling that you pick those elements which suit your story, but it's not a complete picture of how it was 30 years ago.
It is still it has always been the case on many domestic flights, let's say in North America, where you pay for alcoholic beverages and for films. The problem is where things that used to be acceptably free are now charged for. So the aisle seat, the exit row seat, and it's all calibrated.
Yeah, okay, they have that
and it's gotten more complicated. There was a time, for example, British Airways usually reserves the front, the sort of bulkhead row. If somebody, they don't assign it till the last minute in the old days, because they want to know if somebody has a child or if somebody is infirm or something like that. But some other airlines simply keep them for people who are willing to pay more money for them, even in a coach section. And it's gotten to a stage where the industry is blaming the victim, saying that we want low prices rather than creature comforts. And by the way, the airlines are not wrong in doing this. I had a conversation with somebody who used to work with one of the airlines and said that when they did surveys, they found, certainly in the American marketplace, that customers always went for the lowest fare. It didn't matter if the airline had a worse reputation, they always went for the cheapest fare. So there is a psychological mechanism going on. But I feel that you can segment your market a little more effectively than that. Here's one, Ryanair, which is a budget airline, was actually, they were trying to charge passengers if the passenger wanted to print a boarding pass at the airport. In other words, if they didn't bring the boarding pass that they had already printed at home. And it was not chicken feed, it was 40 euros, which is like, what, 50 bucks? Or something.
What was the price of the ticket with Ryanair? They sell tickets for
€1.
No, excuse me. This was, it says Dan Miro, a lawyer who specializes in fighting airlines on behalf of passengers, brought the case against Ryanair after he was charged 40 euros, which is $54 at the time, for a boarding pass at Girona Airport near Barcelona last year. And according to the judge declared it illegal in Spain. Ryanair was forgetting its duties. The judge said the normal practice over the years has been that the obligation to issue the boarding card has always fallen on the carrier. I declare unfair and therefore void the contractual clause in which Ryanair obliges the passenger to be the one who brings the printed boarding pass to travel or face a penalty of 40 euros. Now, looking at this, Ryanair responded, you need the boarding card to fly. If a passenger arrives without a boarding card, we find an ad hoc solution to their problem. The 40 euro is a penalty for doing that. We serve the boarding card in exactly the same way that the passenger makes the booking by internet. It's a very creative use of a penalty. Yes, Will?
What's that U.S. airline a couple of years ago that said they would start charging customers that were over the standard weight?
I forget which one it was. Diego, you remember which one it was? But it's true. And I've been charged. By the way, I can say, I was traveling United. There's nobody here from United. I was traveling United from LA to Tokyo. It was a leg of an international flight. And my suitcase was 2 pounds overweight. And I was charged $100 overweight baggage. Without apology. That's what it is, they said. That's what it is. Yes, Will.
No, I'm not talking about the suitcase. I'm talking about yourself.
How much the person weighs?
Personally.
Oh, that they don't. Oh, you mean somebody? Oh, that's Southwest. Wasn't Southwest doing that?
It's one of the low hub.
I thought it was one. Because, or they were going to do that.
It was one of the.
It was something that's being discussed. I'm not. Was it implemented?
It's gonna cost more fuel or something.
I think that, but they're
It was
fighting
the
it.
crisis in 2008.
I don't think it was implemented, however.
Yeah.
I think it was a trial balloon, as they say. But this is a phenomenon which exists. So as far as I'm concerned, you have a new tower of service. You have the very wealthy at the top. Actually, I was looking for a graph which gives me a very, very narrow, pointy, almost Eiffel Tower-ish look. Then you have the downwardly mobile middle class. And at the bottom, you have the poor. And the stratification really does look at it so that people who have, let's say, a cell phone, but some use it more or get a more expensive plan, they will get better service according to the stratification principle. And before that, let me just give one more example. And here actually, I can ask you, Diego, because this is about Delta. Delta Airlines is now wants to pit passengers against each other in blind auctions in terms of when a flight is overbooked.